Yeah, pretty much all the chips. I mean, Mitch was like, "Oh, so you shoved the chips in?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I like that's an understatement. I've shoved all the chips in on THORChain, and
I love it.
I'm
Well, I
yeah,
mean,
I am a vehement believer that well, take it this way. Rune's at $1.70 right now. You know, it was $9 not too long ago, like back in December, January. You know, Rune is either going to go to $0, which is not, you know, $1.70 to zero from 9. You know, we've kind of already fallen a lot. So it's either going to go to zero because
asymmetrical
the
risk.
protocol stops. Yeah, it's asymmetric. You know, we're either going to zero because the protocol stops, or if you believe that the protocol is not going to stop and is going to continue, and if it continues, people are going to innovate, then the upside is absolutely asymmetric. It is a ridiculous upside, you know, that we can return to $6, return to $9, return to $12, and you know the all-time high was just above 20, you know, a few years ago. So, you know, my belief is firmly that THORChain is not going anywhere. So if you start from that premise and then extrapolate, you know, it's not going anywhere. The teams are actually building now more than they ever were before. You know, there's new things coming out constantly. There's more teams involved now. You've got the Ruggira ecosystem involved. This is a huge moment for THORChain. And yeah, I've just, you know, but between my actual portfolio and now kind of going all in on Leo Dex, making that our core product and focusing on it, I am all in on the THORChain ecosystem. And I think at this moment in time, it's going to be, you know, it's going to be one of those like life-changing moments. So I just think the upside is massive, and the potential downside of it going to zero is just to me it's just not really there. You know, it's obviously always a chance. Anything's a possibility, but I just don't see the downside. I don't see THORChain just suddenly stopping operations, especially after it just went through what it went through. I mean, the time for it to die was back in February, and it didn't die, and now it's kind of thriving out of it.
Yeah. Well, like you said, there's a lot of upside. So, I mean, I've kind of become a little bit of a Bitcoin maxi in 2025, and that's where any new capital is gone. But the reality is, you know, it's going to be a lot harder for Bitcoin to double because that's going from 100 to 200 than it will be for THORChain to go from, you know, a buck 75 to, you know, 350. I mean, heck, that's like nothing. That's like the next, just like next move up. So yeah, the ability to, you know, just straight price speculation for Rune to double, triple, quadruple is a much easier path of resistance than it is for Bitcoin, which is, you know, currently right at all-time highs. So
Yeah.
Rune, if
Well,
Rune even just gets back to all-time highs, like that's right now would be like a 7x. So
at least,
just in
yeah.
terms of, yeah, just in
Yeah.
terms of like, you know, risk reward, you know, but that, you know, to put a bow on that, that's exactly what risk reward is, because the reality is there is more potential reward in speculating on Rune than there is probably Bitcoin over the next 12 months. But there's also more risk because the reality is like we know Bitcoin's not going anywhere. And yeah, we know Bitcoin's going to have pullbacks and, you know, sometimes they're big, but at the same time, it's like, you know, you don't have to worry about Bitcoin going to 20K. Like, I don't see any reality where that happens unless the whole world falls
Right.
apart and the electrical grid goes down or something. You know, with Rune, who knows? It might go back down to $1 and just marinate there and, you know, never fully recover. So that, and that's fine because again, more potential reward usually is linked to more potential risk.